Today we have here with us on the WEInvested podcast, Tung. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day. I know you're a very busy person, so thank you so much. And I'll just jump right into it.
Cool.
All right. So I discovered you on Instagram a few months back, and I, heard your story, and I was really intrigued, and I followed you. And, ever since I've been following you, I've definitely gotten a lot of value from what you bring to Instagram and what you teach the people. So if you could give a little bit of background about yourself and your story and exactly how you got your start.
Yeah, of course. So I have always been like the very, traditional Asian kid who just follows what her parents told her to do. So all my life I've been, trying to get good grades, going to good schools. I got into USC and I actually got in as a cognitive science major. But then my mom was like, you can't really make money with cognitive science. Like, what is that? And so she decided that I should switch into accounting, which I did. And then after I took accounting, the professors were like, oh, you should definitely do Big Four because that's like the best thing for accounting students to get into a Big Four firm. And so that's what I did, go into a Big Four firm. But then when I was, I think 22, it was like the most miserable year ever. I was really depressed because Big Four was not what I expected. I felt so sad. It was so different from my internship. Internship was perfect. It's what they do to get you to stay. But then after that, my first year, I was just miserable. I was so depressed. And I was also quite unlucky because I just had back-to-back busy seasons and I decided to quit. That was a time when my life totally like just collapsed. And also other aspects of my life, like personal life, it was just not going well. And then my self-esteem was also at rock bottom. So I decided to live in my car because I think deep inside, yes, I wanted to save money, but at the same time, I didn't think I deserved anything better. And so when I was living in my car, it just hit me. I realized that, hey, like what I'm doing, what I'm chasing after all my life is not what I really truly want. I'm just trying to live other people's dreams and their expectations. And so I just remember asking myself this a lot and thinking to myself, like, what is it? Like, what is my purpose? And eventually I got to two words, and it's create and connect. And this just shaped what happens after that. After I lived in my car, after I was like trying to sober up from all the dreams and lies that other people told me, I decided that creating and connecting is what I really wanted to do. And so that shaped my business today. I have a coaching business, I have a YouTube channel, whatever, like all that I do with my online business is all evolving around, creating content and connecting with people around the world.
That's awesome, man. So did you think that your Big Four accounting job kind of held you back from being creative?
I think everything in life has a purpose. And so when I was working at Big Four, even though I was so freaking depressed, my creative outlet was creating YouTube videos. So I've been creating YouTube videos for 6 years, almost 7 now. And the one thing that really kept me sane this whole time throughout like school, throughout work, is that I know that I'll be able to create YouTube videos. And sometimes I have to create like 5 videos in one sitting because of the busy season. And it was just difficult to, find time each week to film. But that was like the one thing that kept me sane because I just love creating so much. So I guess the pain of Big Four drove me to create more.
Nice. Okay. And I heard you kind of touch on that you started your own coaching business. Mm-hmm. For the people who may not be familiar with what that is, can you explain to them exactly what that means?
So how I explain coaching is like, how sometimes people spoon feed you information and then you think at the time, but afterwards when you're on your own, you're like, what the frick just happened? Like, I still don't know what to do. And I feel like this is the situation with a lot of, traditional education or even like just other sorts of help we get. Like, let's say if we hire a financial advisor, they do stuff for us, but then we still don't understand what's going on. And what coaching is that the coach will ask you questions and know that you will get to the right spot. Of course, the coach has been there, done that. And so the coach is gonna ask like specific questions that help you uncover what you already know. And so you're able to paint your own path. And in terms of for what I do, since I'm a wealth coach, I remind people that they know how to create wealth. I remind people that they can use their own knowledge, their experience to create wealth without depending on others, without depending on a 9-to-5. And so my coaching service is specifically for people with a 9-to-5 job, because I feel like this is the like specific situation that I was in 2 years ago when I was so freaking depressed at the Big Four firm. And when I hit rock bottom pretty much with my self-esteem and decided to live in my car. And the main reason is because my whole identity was tied to my Big Four job. I had nothing else, and I did not know how to just get unstuck and bring myself out of that situation.
Okay. And so making that transition from 9-to-5 to, full-time entrepreneur, was that a scary transition for you? How was that for you?
I'm not a full-time entrepreneur, and I think that's the beauty of it. I still have a 9-to-5, and I know a lot of people, they say you either do one or the other, but my central message is that if you can do both, why not do both? Because there are certainly good things about a 9-to-5. I like my current 9-to-5. It's not at a Big Four firm anymore. And there's certain network, there's certain resources, of course, like 401k matching, all that good stuff. And I also like the structure of having a 9-to-5. Of course, there are other reasons. I'm also Canadian. And so I have a work visa here. So many reasons I decided to keep my 9-to-5. I'm not like a full-time entrepreneur, but I am making full-time like entrepreneur money as a part-time entrepreneur.
And that's awesome, man. And I think that's where we connect too, because I still have my 9-to-5, and I think it's great to just have as many streams of income as possible, you know? Mm-hmm. So when you found out about, about coaching, mm-hmm. how did you know you had the right business idea? How was it starting out? Like, was it a struggle? Was it tough? Like, so what are your thoughts on the beginning process?
So starting my coaching business was actually a really smooth transition, but it's only so smooth because I was testing my idea all the freaking time on YouTube. So when I first started my YouTube channel, it was all over the place. I was making like how to open a coconut with a fruit knife, just like random videos. Like I did some fashion videos, some beauty videos, some Louis Vuitton videos. And then I was like all over the place because I didn't know what I wanted to do. But then it was, I think after I lived in my car, which is like, the whole tipping point, I realized that I really like talking about money. Like, even though at the time, like a lot of people gave me hate because they're like, oh, like, what do you know? You're only like a 23-year-old Asian woman. You don't know shit about money. And yeah, even though I got a lot of hate, I really enjoy talking about money, like credit card, bank account, investments. And that was a time when I really found out my niche. And that's why my coaching business was like a smooth transition, because I already found out what I really want to do and what really helps people. And then that was just a smooth transition into my coaching program, because I'm basically just putting all my knowledge, talking about wealth building into my coaching program.
And so YouTube kind of gave you that platform to kind of prepare your viewers and your subscribers for you to already go down that path. So I think that's great, man. But okay, so the importance of a team, right? So we all know we can't really we can't be as big as we want to be by ourselves. We need a network, we need connections. So how important is building a good team and having a good team of people around you to you?
Mm-hmm. Super, super important. And I definitely realized this a little too late. So in the past, I was surrounding myself with like people who were just not good for me. Like I had some drinking friends and some friends who like had no purpose in life. And spending time with them just made me feel really frustrated about my life. And it was when I lived in my car, and then I started, having these, like self-reflection times. And I realized that I've been surrounding myself with people who are just not good for me. And I decided to really not only change my friend circle, like the people I, talk to face every single day, but also my mentors. So before living in my car, I didn't really have like a strict mentor or anything like that. I did buy some online courses before that, but I did not really like put my full attention into it. And then after I lived in my car, and during the time when I lived in my car, I actually spent like $2,000 on an online course. And some people might be like, what the frick? Like, You're living in your car to save money, but you're spending $2,000 on an online course. Are you freaking out of your mind? And that was also the time when I did like personal finance videos. And so people were like, yep, she definitely doesn't know anything about money. She's just blowing it all away on scammy stuff. But then that was the, again, tipping point. It made me realize that I can choose who I surround myself with, not just my friend circle, but also the people I look up to. And right now, my criteria in terms of, choosing my mentors, choosing my coaches, I work with a lot of coaches. It's that, do I want their business? Do I want to have what they have right now? Is this the business model I want to have? And if yes, then I don't want to keep reinventing the wheels. It's a waste of time. I've tried to do that all, for first 4 years of my YouTube channel. I was trying to reinvent the wheels. I thought I knew better. I thought I could, break the system and somehow I don't have to follow any rules and still, create my own path. No, it does not work. And so I decided that from now on, I'm going to follow people who are a couple steps ahead of me, even if that person's just one step ahead of me. I want to just be humble, stay open-minded, and really understand how they did it.
For sure. So an important, piece to finding a good mentor is definitely being observant and making sure they are where you want to be, and not just listening to somebody who's, not living the life that you want to live. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, what are some business mistakes that you made in the beginning that you wish you could have avoided?
I wish I was more humble. I wish I stayed more open-minded. And I wish I hired a coach way before. I think many mistakes could be avoided. I was just doing a lot of experimentation, A/B testing, and not saying that these are all, things that got me nowhere, because I am where I'm at today because of the mistakes I made. But do I have to make all these mistakes? Probably not. So the good thing about having a coach is that this person, if you find the right coach, can collapse the timeline. So let's say you need to spend 4 years to learn one thing. This coach might be able to, collapse it into, let's say, 4 months, instead of you spending 4 years of figuring it out on your own and potentially maybe giving up because it's so freaking hard.
Right. For sure. So what are some of your least favorite parts about entrepreneurship?
Least favorite part is definitely loneliness. A lot of people are at their 9-to-5s. This is the norm, especially the people around me. My coworkers, most of them, of course, they have their 9-to-5s, and most of them also don't run businesses on the side. And so loneliness is a big part. Just every single, holiday, every single weekend, there isn't a single day that I stopped working. Even when I was sick, I would be in bed and trying to, respond to my DMs, respond to different messages from my clients. And so there really isn't a time that I can just sit back and chill. And this is also the one, ugly truth that a lot of people don't talk about. They make entrepreneurship seem like it's all rainbows and butterflies and it's all, be your own boss, it's all happy, but there's definitely a lot of extra work that you have to put in when you own your business.
Right. And I guess on the flip side of that, what would you say is some of your favorite things about being an entrepreneur?
You can paint your own picture. Whatever business you want to create, it's up to you. Your own imagination is the limit. Elon Musk, perfect example. He created this business out of first from his mind, and he turned it into reality. And same thing with us. Whatever business we want to create, we can. And that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. You can create whatever you want. No one is giving you orders. No one is saying that you have to stick to a certain structure or a certain rhythm or certain style. You create everything.
For sure, man. And that's what I like, going back to what you said about still having a 9-to-5 and you liking the 9-to-5 because of the structure it provides. Mm-hmm. I agree with that. And it's you could take that structure that you learned from the 9-to-5 and use it for your own business to help you maybe stay more organized or to make it scalable or whatever you want to do. So, that structure does pay off when you're trying to break out and do your own thing. So I totally agree with that, man. But what would you say is one of the most important reasons for your success?
Most important reason is probably grit. So I still haven't read that book. I will someday, but grit is basically how long can you hold on to something that might be painful, that might be difficult. And this is definitely the one characteristic that I see not only in myself, but a lot of successful entrepreneurs. They really like are so determined, and like it's hard for them to let go. And I think it's the same thing with me. Like I could have quit in the third year of my YouTube channel when I was making pennies. Like I could easily quit, since each video took me like 10 hours to create. And I was uploading like every single day, or I think 3 times a week at least. It was brutal, but then I still kept going because I didn't want to give up. And I think this is the difference between, you know, a successful entrepreneur and someone who gave up, is that like how willing are you to hold on, to keep holding on, even when the future is unclear, you don't know where this is going, and you don't know if you're actually going to succeed.
For sure. So it sounds like, you know, you really understand the importance of being consistent too, with uploading 3 times a day or daily, or, you know what I'm saying, whatever you're doing. That's never easy, trying to stay consistent on social media. That's like a job within itself. So I applaud that. But that being said, because your business was already digital, you were already on YouTube, you're heavy on Instagram. How did the coronavirus, like how did COVID affect your business, if it did at all?
Yeah, so coronavirus is definitely not like a pleasant thing for people. Obviously, people are dying, but then it's also an opportunity for digital businesses, for online businesses, because when people are stuck at home, they have nowhere to go. They can't go bar hopping. What do? They probably go online. And that's why YouTube also had a spike in terms of views for a lot of creators. And a lot of online businesses also boomed during this time because people have nothing to do. They're bored. And so they just go online, they find things that they want to do. They find time to actually improve themselves. And so COVID was actually the time when I started my coaching business. And within the first 19 days, I hit 10K. And it's just unimaginable. Like, when I did it at first, I was just like, let's see where this takes me. I never had like the goal of I have to make 10K or anything like that. I was just like, let's see where this takes me. And then when I actually hit my first 10K in 19 days, I was like, dang, like this thing works. Maybe I should keep doing it. And I also realized that I actually really enjoy coaching, even though I'm an introvert, which is kind of weird because coaching, like you have to talk to people. And I thought as an introvert, I would hate that, but I actually really enjoyed coaching, and I enjoyed getting the feedback, getting stories of how people transformed, turned their lives around, how people went from like not posting any content at all to like posting on Instagram every single day, and how they feel so much better about their online businesses. Like it's really satisfying just to see this transformation.
For sure. And that's like a segue to the next question. Like, how do you define success as an entrepreneur?
Success as an entrepreneur is when you know that deep inside, this is what you're meant to do. And like this is like very fluid. This can change. But right now at this moment, you're like, this is like the perfect fit. It's like getting the perfect piece of puzzle and you're like, this fits perfectly. And it should feel like that if you're really creating your own business, because again, you can create anything that you want. And so success is definitely when you feel like this is just like the right fit right now.
For sure. And so how would you like for people to remember you and remember your company?
Remember me as a wealth coach who wants to help other 9-to-5 employees break free of their corporate salary because they are more than their corporate job. And this is the one thing that I wish I've known 2 years ago when I was, living in my car, zipped up in my tiny sleeping bag on the yoga mat and like crying myself to sleep. This is the one thing that I want Cherry back then to know, that Cherry is more than her Big Four auditor job. She is beyond that, and she can do way more than just working a 9-to-5.
For sure, man, for sure. And so are there any like future projects or releases or anything that you're working on or thinking about expanding, putting out, anything that you want people to know?
Yeah. So I've been working on my coaching business for a while now. A lot of graduated clients, a lot of my clients hit their first 5 and 10K months after working with me. And I decided to turn this into an online course. And the course will probably release next month in August. And it is called Corporate to Coach Academy. And so my whole brand is Corporate to Coach. So I have a Facebook group, Corporate to Coach Network. And then this is Corporate to Coach Academy. And the group coaching program is called Corporate to Coach Bootcamp. And the reason why it's called that is because I want people to transition out of their corporate job into being the boss of their coaching business. And so that is what is ahead.
For sure, man. And I'll definitely look forward to that release and, sharing that with the people too. So hopefully, we can just get as many eyes on it as possible. But before we get out of here, man, I just wanted to ask you a couple fun questions near the end of the interview, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
Now, so look, question number 1, where's your favorite place to travel?
I love Paris. I just love everything about Paris. I feel so good. I love, people watching. I feel like everything about Paris is so interesting. I don't know if I'll actually live there because my French is like non-existent, but I just love going to Paris.
Okay. That's pretty interesting. I think that's the first time I've ever heard anyone say they love Paris, but that's pretty cool. So what song would you say represents or explains your life the most?
I'm still searching for the song that explains life after living in my car, but life before living in my car is definitely Lil Dicky's Save That Money, because I was always trying to save that money, like always trying to find like the most frugal way to do things. So yeah, that's the first half of my life.
All right.
Quarter, I guess.
That's pretty cool, man. And look, so what's an amazing thing that you did that no one was around to see?
Amazing thing. It's hard to think of an amazing thing. I guess living in my car is kind of amazing. No one was really there to see me, I hope. It'd be kind of strange if people are just like, watching me from the car window. But that's definitely I wouldn't recommend this to everyone, obviously, but I think it's definitely really good to have that, peace and quiet from the outside world and to have no distractions around you and to just, take a long freaking time to self-reflect. And I think this is also why people go to, meditation, summits, trips, and it's for them to self-reflect, because a lot of the times we think the answer is outside, but the answer is really within us. And so it takes us a lot of, silence and peace in order to find that answer.
For sure, man, for sure. Cherry, thank you so much, man. Can you let the people know how they can find you on social media or the internet?
Yeah, of course. So my YouTube channel is just my name, Cherry Tung, cherry as in the fruit, CHERY, and then last name TUNG. I'm also on IG. It's cherrytung.co, and it's cherrytung.co. Like throughout my Facebook page is also cherrytung.co, and you can find me there. And also my Corporate to Coach Network, which is my Facebook group, which we have a lot of people, entrepreneurs, people working their 9-to-5s, and they have entrepreneurial spirit, and we all get together to talk about wealth building, entrepreneurship, and coaching.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, Cherry. It's been great talking with you.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks.